7:17 at KPEL, and despite all that Trooper Brooks David has going on this week, we said, no, this is your appointment time. You're going to wake up and talk to us.
Yeah.
Tuesdays around 7.
Uh-huh.
We catch up. How are things out there, Trooper, on the roads? I know there are a lot of closures we're working to update right now. But it seems, though, you might have a completely different opinion, but it seems to me like people are taking the advice and kind of staying away from these areas.
Yeah, I think they're taking heed of the warnings that we're putting out there. The biggest thing is getting the detours out to the people where they know where to go. And for that, we're asking them to look at the updated road closures and high water sign closures that we put on our Facebook page, the State Police Facebook page. The one thing that we're asking the public to do is to please not call the troop for directions. Our phones are inundated with crashes and different things that are going on. That is for emergencies only. So we're asking people to please look at 511la.org or the road closures that we put on Facebook and go around that area. If you look, there's different things out there like Waze and other things, Way to Go app from Louisiana that you can use to get around these areas.
It's much better that people do that. I think people don't understand, they think, oh, it's just me calling, but there's 270,000 me's that are trying to get through.
Yeah, it's not only, our local people. It's people coming in from out of state and in all areas. They're dialing star LSP, and it's coming straight to our troops. So, we're getting thousands of phone calls when people are actually trying to call in for emergencies because of crashes and stuff that needs to be tended to. Our people are trying to give people directions. So please look at those locations, those apps and detours in our Facebook page and, get around those areas.
What has been the advice or what are people telling you in state government in terms of what to tell the public about how long we may end up having to deal with some of these closures, for example, on I-10?
Well, that is unknown. They talk about the merman and all these other things. We actually don't know. We're paying attention to the weather. We're talking to the National Weather Service every day, a couple of times a day to see exactly what's going on. It's just, you can never tell what's going on with the weather. It does basically what it wants to do, and the rivers do, what they want to do. And I see Lake Arthur this morning's preparing for the worst. So, all we can do is hope for the best. And, our main focus here is public safety. And we don't want any more people getting injured or getting trapped. And that's why we don't want people traveling through high waters.
Yeah.
People, were traveling yesterday, and we've always talked about, roadways being washed out. Well, we had reports of roadways being washed out, and thankfully it was only some blacktop that was missing. But, they were in water almost up to the windows in their pickup truck. Oh. So if that roadway would have been washed out, it'd have been bad for them. So, don't take it for granted that you can make it. If it says it on our list that it has high water and it's impassable or the roadway's closed, it's there for a reason. We want people to be able to get to where they need to go, just like we need to get somewhere, but we can't go through. We have to go around it also. So, just take heed of it. It's for your own safety.
Let me ask you about people, too. Can they get in trouble for that, Brooks?
Yes, they can. Yesterday, troopers were out, especially on I-10, and they were writing tickets. They brought some to LA 343 yesterday by 699 in Vermilion Parish because people were passing when they were not supposed to be passing, and it was pushing water into people's homes still, and they wrote tickets there. So, we're going to deploy police officers, and deputies are doing the same, and the local officials. And, we've been giving warnings now for a couple of days, and there's routes now that you can take to get to where you need to go safely. And if you don't do that, you're going to be cited.
Mm-hmm. Question, if you would just kind of review what we know about I-10 this morning and the easiest way to explain it to people. I'm still getting tons of questions via email.
Yeah, yesterday evening, sometimes late last night, they decided that eastbound, you're going to be able to get on eastbound if you're east of the flooded area in Crowley, and you'll be able to travel through. Westbound, if you're west of the flooded area, you will be able to get on I'm sorry, westbound, you'll be able to get on locally in Lafayette, and you'll be able to travel west just east of the flooded area and exit off.
So basically, the detour is in place for through traffic. But if you're in Lafayette, let's just say you need to go to Rain, or not Rain, I guess.
Rain, maybe, yeah.
Is east enough. If you just need to go to Rain, or you need to go to like Dusau or Scott, you can use that westbound portion. But you need to know that you will be forced off the interstate before you reach the flooded area.
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's for our local traffic, so they do not have to be, detoured all the way up to 190. That's not for, people traveling through the state and other things like that.
Okay.
Because, what happened yesterday was people wasn't heeding our advice to the detours off of I-10, and they were calling us because they were trying to take these back roads, and then they were flooded in their vehicles.
Yeah, and they don't. They don't know enough about them, and then they don't know. Hey, it's all flooded.
So it's going to take some strain off of US 190 and 165, and let our local people travel locally on the interstate systems that they know and that they know are not flooded, and let the traveling public from out of state that needs to get somewhere take the detour routes.
Okay.
Have you heard with drivers coming through? I know I got a couple phone calls yesterday. Some people trying to get home to Houston from Florida and trying to kind of weed the different areas. Does it make sense if you're coming, from that area? We know a lot of people are wrapping up even vacations, maybe around, to just go ahead and get on 190 to start with and take 190 across St. Tammany Parish, just the entire way. Is that all pretty much open?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times what we're telling people is just go up to I-20, because the traffic, the backed up traffic that we're getting through Baton Rouge and through New Orleans, even though Interstate 12 is now open, is bad, because our local people who are trying to get to their residents, the businesses that are trying to get food restocked on their shelves, need priority. So we're asking people, if they're just traveling through the state to get to another state, take I-20 and then come back down another route and go to your destination.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Well, remember when the Lake Charles flooding was happening earlier this year? Remember, Bernie, that was the detour.
Oh, yeah.
I-49 to 20 and back on down.
Miserable, but, it's easier that way.
Sometimes you have to look at the silver lining. At least we don't have that situation. Trooper Brooks David, as always, thanks for joining us. Keep us in the loop, as you always do, and we'll pass along all the information we can get to our listeners here at KPEL.
Thank you all so much. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Thanks, Brooks. All right, it's 7:25 at KPEL. Coming up, we'll talk to Jackie Russo. We're also going to talk to Sean Doré from Mr. Electric about what to do if your house is flooded, but you still have power to your house, and maybe you're just going back to your house for the first time today after all the damage. That and more coming up on Acadiana's Morning News.